Now I just start recording and edit in whenever.
How's it going, bros? My name's PewDiePie.
That was pretty spot on.
No, not really.
So, welcome to our 5th podcast. I think it's the 5th. It's been a while since we've done one because I left Tucson for a while. But now we are recording one back in Colorado. I have 2 guest stars with me here today. Say hello, Logan.
Hello.
And Luke.
Howdy doody.
And we have some exciting things to talk about today. We are actually skipping an entire subject that has become kind of a norm in previous podcasts, TV shows, but we're going to move right to movies because I want to hear so bad what Logan has to say about Transformers 5. You want to kick us off?
So the Transformers last night was a pretty funny movie. It was a really good comedy. It starts off... Well, spoiler alert, by the way, for this movie, in case you were excited to go see it. Starts off with King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table fighting off the numerous Anglo-Saxons, I think, and they're outnumbered. And Merlin runs off and finds a cave, and in the cave there's like a dead Transformer or something, like a sleeping Transformer, and he basically just... gives Merlin this Transformers staff, and he uses that to command a Transformer dragon to help defeat the Anglo-Saxons. And that's like the whole 20-minute intro to the 5th installment.
That sounds amazing.
The only way to one-up dinosaurs from the last movie, dragons.
How can that possibly be a bad movie, Logan?
Well, it's Transformers. So they try as hard as they can to be not good.
So obviously, as everybody knows, this one got the worst reviews out of all 5.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. Even worse than 4, which I saw up to
it.
4, and 4 was so cringeworthy and bad. And I heard this one was worse. What did you think about the ones that you did see? Which ones did you see, Luke?
Oh, I saw the first one. Tried to avoid him as much as possible until a friend made me watch the 4th one, and I was just laughing out loud because just seeing Optimus Prime ride in on a Transformer T-Rex, it's like, I guarantee they start making these movies by sitting around a table and saying, what can we do to one-up the last movie on a level of making middle schoolers just have an erection over our Transformers. And so they were like, let's put them on a Transformer dinosaur. And they found a way to make a movie where that happens. And so I'm sure they were just like, all right, let's do a freaking dragon.
I can't remember. I've kind of omitted the memories of this movie from my mind because it was so bad. But I do believe at the end, Optimus Prime is riding that Transformer dragon rather than a T-Rex.
I'm sure.
Rather than a dinosaur, it's a dragon flying through the air.
So you went straight from 1 to 4?
Yeah, I don't really remember it very
jump.
well. I just remember that scene and me laughing out loud.
Yeah, because there is a steady decline from 1 to 5, but you just jumped right to there.
Megan Fox was in the first one, right?
And the second one. I think.
Okay, so I did see the first one.
Yeah.
And then Shia LaBeouf got a new girlfriend in the third one, and then he just died or something in the 4th and 5th.
Mark Wahlberg in the 4th one and the 5th one. Yeah, so would you recommend Transformers 5, Logan?
Definitely. If you like explosions and potentially getting headaches like my brother did. I watched it with him, and he just straight up got a headache towards the end of the movie because of how little sense the plot made and all the massive explosions and effects clogging the screen.
I saw The House with Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler.
Oh, the basement...
Basement casino.
Yeah, casino movie. How was that?
It was disappointing.
Oh.
I just didn't laugh that much. I won't spoil anything, but the whole movie was just carried by Will and Amy trying to be funny on screen. And they had a lot of good bloopers, too, which made me... I could just tell they wrote this movie with them in mind and then threw them on set and hoped it would all come together. And there were some funny parts. But overall, if it weren't for those two, it would be one of those just trash comedies, you know?
And we can completely trust Luke and his opinions on movies because he is a film major.
I mean, if you have a bad sense of humor, you'll love the movie. That's how it works.
You know, we've probably had more film majors on this podcast than any other type of major, which is interesting. Anyways, I digress. So, The House, not a great movie, unfortunately.
I mean, if you go to movies just to see Will Ferrell or just to see Amy Poehler, which I kind of did, because I really like both those actors, you'll like it. But I also go for the plot and to laugh.
You? Any movies recently?
Just Transformers. Actually, we didn't even watch it in theaters. My brother bootlegged it. We watched that at his house, and he still got the headache. So we were able to just talk smack, like make funny clips every other sentence that was said in the movie. We were making fun of it, basically.
Yeah, the only movies I've seen recently in theaters are Wonder Woman, which I briefly talked about in the last podcast.
That was pretty darn good.
That was a good movie. I enjoyed it. If you want to hear a discussion on Wonder Woman, check out podcast number 4. And I just saw Dunkirk yesterday. I won't go too in depth because it's really not something I can explain that well. And Logan and Luke have not seen it, but it is extremely intense, and I highly recommend it. It is. It's not like Inception. Oh. It's closer to Interstellar than Inception, but it's still very different. It is hands down like a war movie, but it's not like, I don't want to say glorifying the violence, but it doesn't have a whole bunch of gore like Saving Private Ryan. It's a lot more of a psychological thriller than a action movie. So
is it good, or is it bad like Interstellar ended up?
Wait, what?
Well, no, the first 9% of Interstellar was good. The last 10% of the movie was kind of
I got you. Yeah.
That's the thing with Christopher Nolan films. It's like some people don't like it just because it wasn't meant for them. It just kind of went over their heads.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I knew a lot of people in high school.
Are you trying to say it went over my head?
Apparently,
they didn't like Inception because they didn't get it. They gave it one try and they didn't get it. But no, Dunkirk doesn't have an ending like Interstellar. There's no all of a sudden a fourth dimension like a Tesseract.
Spoiler alert for Interstellar.
For a movie that's 3 years old now.
So I have a feeling when I go to see Dunkirk, it'll be like there's a lot of people that didn't like it, but not just because he's going to make some choices that are really, really purposeful and different, which is what I can expect from him, you know?
Well,
what do you think?
This was probably the most different movie I've ever seen from Christopher Nolan, and a lot of that has to do with the directing style and the music style, which is of course done by Hans Zimmer. And I don't want to talk too much about the music because I could talk about that for 24 hours, but it's very art cinema in the direction of the music, and it worked perfectly for the tension and intensity of the movie. But if you focus too much on the music, it can really like bother you. It's really,
which I'm sure you did.
Yeah, well, it didn't bother me because I had heard it a lot before and I was expecting it, but it can be really unnerving is a good word to put it. And it works with the movie, but that might be because why a lot of people didn't like it. But overall, I would definitely recommend it. It's an experience that you have to emotionally prepare yourself for. And if you can,
I'm nodding my head.
Yeah, if you can, I didn't find any places here that did it where we are, but definitely see it in 70mm IMAX because it's worth it. I saw Interstellar on 70mm IMAX, and I can't imagine what this movie would be like. But that's about it for movies. I feel like this summer is pretty dead for movies overall. Like I can count on one hand.
Spider-Man: Homecoming as well.
Did you like that?
Wonder Woman. It was what I expected, you know. Like,
were you expecting good things, or
yeah?
Well, just from every superhero movie, and it's partially me just being a filmmaker. I know the format they use. I know the structural outlines, and they follow it to a T every single time.
How would you compare it to the previous Amazing Spider-Mans? Have you seen those?
No. Because I knew it would be the same thing. I guarantee I could go back to the last one with Andrew Garfield, and I'm sure the movies are different in many ways based on how they portrayed Spider-Man himself. But don't get me started on the whole hero's journey process and the turn structure. You know, like I know Spider-Man's not going to die or anything. They're going to keep him to his core. And
well, Amazing Spider-Man 2 had that plot twist at the end.
Where, yeah, she died.
Spoiler.
Gwen Stacy died. Again, a spoiler.
Oh,
for
you've
something
had
that's
like 5 years to see it.
Yeah.
Podcast viewers. I mean, it was really entertaining. I liked I liked having Tony Stark in the movie. I think that just made it a lot more of a fresh twist. I'd say that.
I did just see Captain America: Civil War and Winter Soldier. I had not seen those before, and those two were probably some of my favorite Marvel movies so far. They were so much better done than like the Thor movies or like Iron Man 3, and I don't know, I can't pinpoint why like a movie like Thor 2 got greenlit and then a movie like Winter Soldier got greenlit. Just the quality of those differ so much for me.
Yeah.
And I could not stand Thor 2. It was painful to watch. But Captain America 2, I had a huge grin on my face the whole time because of how awesome the action was and the sets and whatnot and the acting. And I've heard that Spider-Man was closer to the more recent Marvel movies like Captain America: Civil War than previous ones.
No, it was very quality. I'm just getting tired of it being the same kind of stuff every time is all. I haven't seen Thor 2.
Oh my god. Everybody...
Because I've heard that.
Yeah,
well,
I can only
like
waste
20
my mind
times.
on so many Marvel movies, but I did see Civil War, and I thought that was absolutely a blast to watch.
it was.
I worked at Cinemark movie theaters when Thor 2 came out, so I've seen it like 20 times.
What did you think of it?
I don't know. it was all right. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible either. It was kind of just like meh, and compared to other superhero movies, I guess. So.
Well, it was weird for me because when Thor 2 first came out, all of my friends said that, oh, it was such a huge step up from Thor 1. It was an amazing movie compared to the other ones. And it was a step up from Thor 1, but like when you're down in the pits of movie hell and you take one step up, it's still complete shit.
You're still in the 8th ring of hell.
So, yeah, that's my opinion on the recent Marvel movies.
I have one really big beef with Civil War, if we can go back to that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I went into it knowing it would be a bunch of superheroes fighting each other and just that. And I loved it because I went in with that expectation. I got exactly what I wanted. But when they all fight each other 6v6
Yeah, on the
at the airport parking lot, yeah. So, Cap's side has Black Widow and at the end she's Black Widow. He's got all these people that you've had so long to see this people. And then Iron Man's side has all these people, and then he has who's the red guy? Who's the really powerful guy?
The Vision.
Vision, yeah. So, Infinity War, no. I don't get these. Okay, what's the second Avengers movie? Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. Oh, man.
So he saves everyone's ass at the end of Age of Ultron by being just way more powerful than everybody, right? Like Vision is super freaking powerful.
Yeah, he can become corporeal whenever he wants.
Yeah.
And
so the only way they could make that fight scene work was by having everyone charge in and then not show Vision for about 10 minutes of the fight.
Yeah.
He just kind of disappeared.
He didn't come in until afterwards.
No, he was there at the beginning. I saw him there.
He just didn't do anything. They just cut away from him
when
being
they all start
there.
running at each other 6-on-6.
It's like 6-on-5 instead, basically.
Yeah, they just clash, and then Vision just isn't there for like 10 minutes. Because if they did show him, he would just straight up kill somebody.
And then when they finally did, it was him versus Ant-Man, and he took Ant-Man down no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, he didn't do anything else again, really.
Mm-hmm. No, that was just... I couldn't enjoy that fight because I kept waiting for him to pop up and see how accurate it was.
I did notice a couple times when they would focus on a couple people fighting specifically, and then they would go back to another person, and then somebody would pop in. It was directed and edited in such a way that all these things are happening at the same time, but I think it would have been more effective if you only saw snippets of the fight and there was other fighting happening, but it purposefully didn't show it to you, and it made it seem as if it wasn't showing you stuff.
Yeah, if I could at least see him in the background, it would have been okay,
Yeah. Like,
but again,
he is, he's doing something.
Yeah.
He's destroying everyone.
An easy way to do that is like when you cut away from a character and you cut back, they have new visible, noticeable scars or something.
Yeah, that would have been great. Or even if they, the sorceress girl, what was her name?
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. Thank you for helping me with all these names and stuff.
Scarlett Johansson Witch.
So, Scarlett Johansson Witch, I know she had a big part in that fight. She's kind of the paper to Vision's rock. She's the only one that can actually do something to him.
Yeah.
I wish they would have at least shown her, like, just one shot of her putting a stop to him, and then I could have assumed that he was duking it out with her for those 10 minutes, but they didn't.
And her accent, God.
Just to make her a little bit more interesting, I guess.
Yeah. Anyways, so that is movies. Now I want to move on to video games. We have a couple cool things to talk about. First of all, I wanted to cover a topic that I've been thinking about for a while because I have a lot of friends that are in the same boat as you guys. We're going to be talking about Pokemon Go here. This game has been out for over a year now, and a lot of people would say it's dead, but it still has, I think the numbers were like 3 million monthly users.
Mm-hmm.
And a big update just came out recently that released legendaries into the game in a way that I don't really like because it only made them available for a week each, and there's no announcement of when they're coming back. But both Luke and Logan here has stopped playing, and I wanted to get an answer from you guys on why. You want to go first, Logan?
Well, I just don't leave my house, like, ever. So I really just don't go anywhere, and whenever I do, when I had Pokemon Go, whenever I would go anywhere, which is not often, I would forget that I had Pokemon Go at all, and so I wouldn't ever gain an experience, and I'm still at like level 18 or something, and I stopped playing back before they came up with all these new updates to kind of balance things for lower level players and gyms and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I might get back into it if I become more active, but since I'm still level 18, it'll take a while to get up there.
So there was no specific in-game event that made you stop playing?
No.
Okay.
Well, my reasons are more personal, I'd say. For one, I want to say that I think anyone who's still in on Pokemon Go now, like, it didn't die. It just weeded out all the casuals, you know. It went through some rough patches.
Are you calling me casual?
We're casual. I think the people that are still playing, they're the true Pokemon fans, or at least part of the game. That Pokemon game, if you like it for that. For me, it was when the gym battles were before they were updated, and people who played the game a lot more than me had all the power over the gyms, and I couldn't do anything to them. Mm-hmm. That made me feel like, well, I got to either really step up my game if I want to even play the full game, or I wouldn't be able to actually get to do anything with it other than just catch Pokemon and kind of work my way up the ladder, which is all fair and well. If you play the game more than I do, you should get to have more power than I do over the gyms and have more power for Pokemon, but it still took away a lot of the fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, just for me personally, when I'm outside, I want to be outside. I don't want to be looking at a screen. Whenever I'm home, that's pretty much all I'm doing, you know? We're either working on our computers, playing on the TV, watching a YouTube video before bed. You know, we don't really do much that's not staring at a screen anymore. At least I don't. So when I'm outside, I don't want to be looking at a screen. That's probably why I haven't gotten back into it, even with all the fixes and updates.
That's pretty interesting. I'm glad I got those answers because I would consider myself a pretty hardcore player. Not a casual like you two. Mm-hmm. But I'm on the subreddit a lot for Pokemon Go, and almost every reason I've seen for people quitting is the reason being on the developer side rather than a personal side, and a reason like what you were saying, the gym thing, I had never really thought of. But of course, in the last few months, that's been fixed. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier now to take down gyms, and at the same time, it's easier to keep them. So it's kind of confusing how the system works out, but they made it so that it's 6 Pokemon per gym instead of 10, like in the normal games, and you can only have one type of each. So people, like, when the game first started out, they would put like 10 Dragonites in a gym. You can't do that anymore.
Good.
So it's a lot easier than that case. And besides that, I have considered stopping a few times, but every single time I considered stopping was because there's this huge glitch in the game that makes it unplayable. Why would I continue to play it? Or, on the other hand, one of my biggest pet peeves is how much, and we saw this with, you said, even though you played a lot in the beginning, you didn't get very far in level-wise. It's because they prioritize urban players so much more than us, just based on their algorithm where the more Pokestops and the more Pokemon that spawn, it completely depends on the population and the amount of cell service being used in a certain area. A perfect example of this was when I was up in Yellowstone last week. We went to Grand Teton National Park first, and there's no service there whatsoever. However, we went to a lodge one night for dinner, and it's like one of the one spots in the entire park where I had some service, and there were crazy spawns there, just because in this huge area with no cellular activity, there's just one spot. And so when you have a city like New York City with thousands of people each square mile on their phone versus a place like here where it's maybe 100 per square mile, it differs.
I did some more thinking, and another main reason that I stopped playing Pokemon Go is that since the beginning, it still is like this. It's fundamentally different from any other Pokemon game in the sense that it's not a turn-based fighting game. Instead, it's when you get into a Pokemon battle with the gym or whatever, you mash your phone. When you're going to catch a Pokemon, you have to spin your screen or whatever and be accurate with your throw rather than just relying on just luck, like in the actual game, the actual original games. And because of that, it seemed like it was a totally different game other than just the name and the visuals of being Pokemon.
Yeah, I agree with you. There was a game that came out before this by the same company, I think, and it was
Ingress,
yeah. It was the same kind of concept. You took over points, and there was like the blue and the yellow team. And I tried that, and I hesitated on casuals because I really am a hardcore Pokemon fan. I still play Pokemon Stadium on my N64 sometimes, but yeah, you can. But like it's not a Pokemon game. You could replace this with Digimon and kind of have the same thing, or just other animations. This is just another way to take over usage of this new technology we have.
Because there's such a large Pokemon fan base that even though this game isn't as much as like Pokemon, it's just the visual. They are just using the visual aspect, it seems like, to gain the Pokemon fan base to their Pokemon Go game. That's what it feels like.
So if you're just like collecting them like trophies without actually playing a turn-based battle simulator, then I'm not judging anyone for playing it. It's just not quite the same to me.
That's the main reason I play. So that's probably why I've stuck around so long. The only reason I ever do gym battles is so I can get coins to help me do stuff with like eggs and catching whatnot. So a lot of players probably are still on based on that. But yeah, like you were saying, if you take a base game like Pokemon on like a Game Boy and then you port it with completely new textures and animals and stuff, people will still be like, oh, this is a copy of a Pokemon game because it has the same turn-based system and the same mechanics. And this is the other way around where it's the same images and visuals.
It's the other game that Niantic, the company, made beforehand, but just with a Pokemon label on it. And features or visuals.
Very interesting. So obviously Niantic's probably never going to hear this, but us suburban players and us true Pokemon fans can always attempt to bombard them with our complaints and suggestions. And even though I'm kind of a hypocrite because I'm not going to stop playing probably just because collecting them is so much fun for me, and I do enjoy when I go to new places seeing what's there and seeing what the population is like and whatnot. A lot of people will not come back to the game unless you fix the basic mechanics that makes a Pokemon game a Pokemon game.
I think if you ever added back battling Niantic and made it so I could fight Alex here on somewhat fair terms,
actual PvP,
that'd be fun, and I'd probably get back into it then.
Yeah.
Then Pokemon centers or Pokemarts, like actual physical locations.
Every single thing we've mentioned here today, they have talked about a few months ago as something that they're releasing. They're working on and releasing soon. Trading PvP, Poke Centers, other stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know. They've made billions of dollars so far in this game. And they have a company in San Francisco, and they work directly with the Pokemon company in Japan. Yet their development company is just complete shit. But
we don't know what else going on behind the surface, but I mean, for the amount of liftoff they got when this game came out, you'd think they would have been able to come out with things a little bit quicker.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I want to end this discussion, because talking about Pokemon Go too long for me kind of makes me angry. Playing it's a different thing, but talking about it just makes me infuriated. I did want to talk about another video game that all three of us have in common, Zombies. Recently, we've gotten some trailers for Zombies later this year. Have you guys seen the new... It's not called Nazi Zombies, but essentially Nazi Zombies. Wait, it is called Nazi Zombies. For
No, I haven't.
yeah, the Zombies game mode coming with World War II in November is called Nazi Zombies because they're going back to their roots. You haven't
Can we
seen
watch it?
Yes.
Like you can cut this part out.
Yeah, that's the actual game.
World War II.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But they're finally going back to their roots.
So I'm a little confused on like the different stories and characters. Is it gonna be with Richtofen and Tank Dempsey, or is it gonna be new characters? Or
completely different.
Okay.
According to Treyarch, those characters, that storyline is done because at the end of Black Ops 3,
The super Easter egg.
yeah,
Or you fix the universe.
I'll give a quick spoiler.
Fix the universe.
Yeah, you fix the universe by setting them back into their loop or whatever.
Okay.
Anyways,
You got the cool calling card from it though. At least.
Needless to say, a lot of people didn't like that. But I've talked about this on a previous podcast, but I am, for the first time in years, I am uber excited for a Call of Duty game because finally it's not in the future. It's not a Halo game. It's a World War II game, and the trailer for the World War II game. Yeah, have either of you guys played Battlefield 1?
I think maybe.
Have you seen a trailer for it?
Nope.
Oh, well, it's a very beautiful, gritty game about World War
I
One,
know.
and Call of Duty World War II looks the same. It's like really immersive and really realistic. There's none of that stupid like DLC camo crap. There's none of that exosuit jumping.
Battlefield 1's the most recent one that came out, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no. Then I was thinking of like the first Battlefield game that came out.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
But
no, I haven't seen it.
after your initial viewing of the Nazi Zombies trailer, what are your guys' thoughts?
Looks nice.
I'm very excited. To me, the reason I fell off the Nazi Zombies bandwagon was when I started. My first one was Kino der Toten on the Black Ops game. I didn't play any of the World at War ones at first, but I liked the map, and then I liked adding in the other maps. What makes the game more interesting and fun to play is the fact that I'm freaking out over the fact that I have no idea how I'm going to survive to the next round. And every time the round comes up, like round 9, I was freaked out by round 9 at many certain points because I just didn't know all the strategies. It was when I learned how to make the circles and kind of abuse the mechanics that the game started becoming more of a system for me. And I was no longer scared, you know?
And that's where a lot of the problem lies with more recent Zombies maps, because what they did with the more recent Zombies map is, to an extent, what they thought they were doing was they were making it more immersive and difficult. But what they were really doing is, unlike Black Ops 1 and World at War maps, where you can just go in and play whichever way you want, you cannot play these newer maps without going through their system and going through their process of setting up the map and, you know, doing their little
And
Easter
yeah,
eggs
that's
and
kind of
stuff.
crappy. I think if you have a team of 4 survivors, I would like to see a zombies map where players around the world are trying to come up with new ways to survive on a really difficult map. New formations, put 2 guys here, 2 guys here, 1 guy here, 3 guys here. Swap when you need to do this, use these guns. Like, come up with a team effort to survive into really high, ridiculously hard rounds where you're just not sure if you're going to make it.
I think they try to do that with these later ones, but it just became where it was impossible to survive if you weren't a team of 4 or whatever.
Yeah, like
and
the Black Ops 2, the trench map with the
Origins.
Yeah, Origins.
Yeah, freaking hard.
The Panzer robot
Well,
or whatever, and the giant
To me,
robots.
that
was
one
terrifying.
even fits more with the classic maps though, because that one is more you can make it a much more scary, intense experience for yourself. But with like some of the Black Ops 3 maps, let's use...
I haven't played any of those.
Zetsubo no Shima. Let's use that as an example. Zetsubo no Shima is a perfect example of this problem because you have to go through many Easter egg steps with people just to turn on the power. Before you can even get anything, you have to start an Easter egg.
And at that point, I'm not playing the game. I'm playing an Easter egg game. I'm not trying to survive against zombies that are trying to eat me.
Yeah. And so I definitely hope with this new World War II game, they go back to the classic feel. Although, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I just like the fact that it looks more like a horror game now and less like a carnival.
It was definitely formatted more like the trailers for the World at War maps than for the Black Ops 3 maps. Or like, starting with like the Black Ops 1 maps, they started to do the whole story thing and they would put like fun songs in there. But yeah, that's our opinion on zombies. I have one last thing I wanted to talk about. If you have reached this far in the podcast, you should pat yourself on the back because we are standing in the midst of a very successful memer.
Oh, I'm not the successful memer. I'm the successful normie who lifted up the memer and made him public.
Via editing. He's the editor of the memer.
I'm the one who... I stand behind the camera and say, can you say that in a way that other people will understand?
He's the guy who secretly wears Logan's suits.
Not this Logan.
Yeah.
No, different Logan. Luke here is part of a channel now called Internauts. You want to give the listeners a brief explanation and history?
Yeah, essentially, me and my friend Logan, who is a deep explorer of the internet, one time we were at a party and he shows us a picture on 4chan that says, he just says, "Hey guys, do you want to see a picture of an anus sewn shut?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And he shows us anyway. And I say, "Logan, we should make a show about your findings on the weird side of the internet." And so we made a channel called Logan Hub and made a series called The Weird Side of the Internet, in addition to a few other shows we made, like Explain. We would take a meme and we would just explain what it is for the general audience from a person who actually ventures onto that side of the internet, knows what they're talking about. And a show called Stop, where we would just tell the internet to stop doing things that are really cringy and bad for people.
Like the Minion Facebook memes.
Yes.
That one was my favorite episode.
Yep. I loved making that one. So we changed our name to the Internauts to be more of just like a general public name, you know, like that makes a lot more sense as to what we actually do. But I'm one of the co-founders and I do all the cinematography and the editing and I help with some of the writing for that show. We now have a couple extra people helping out with the channel, Nick and Jeff. And the four of us are trying to restart the channel up after a basically year-long hiatus.
Yeah.
Catterday, Pedo Bear, Shoop-da-Whoop, the term fap, chocolate rain, boxy, and much, much more lie in the history of this grand old center of shit postings and top cats. They even made a video game where you could date the handicapped.
And I wanted to ask you about your filming and editing process now, because I think that'd be pretty interesting, because you have a pretty good following already, just based off of Logan Hub. He has over 20,000 subscribers now. It's still growing slowly because of the hiatus.
I don't know, man. We're trying to break out of that. I feel like it's like every time we gain subscribers, we lose the same amount.
Huh.
Something...
From like previous subscribers?
And I don't know if it's because... Well, it's even when we don't put a video out. I really think something's weird with YouTube. I don't want to start a conspiracy theory, but we did take like a year off, and so we're kind of stuck there. But we're gonna try to break out of it.
Well, one of the reasons just could be a simple explanation of a lot of these people forgot they were subscribed to Logan Hub, and when they saw the videos coming in, they're like, "I don't want to wait 5 months between each episode again." So that could be it. But
possibly, yes.
No offense to you.
I'd rather go with the YouTube conspiracy theory for my own comfort, but
I would really like to hear your process of filming and editing because it's very interesting to me. I always love the bits in your episodes where you kind of break the fourth wall and show the camera crew.
Oh yeah,
I love those bits.
All the bloopers at the end.
Yeah,
we like putting those in because I think part of YouTube and reason people like YouTube is because you get to have a genuine connection with the person that is being filmed and they're speaking right to you, it's not coming through some big video production company out in Los Angeles.
That has like CEOs dictating the writing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going through a filter. It's going right from the people to the audience. That's what I love about YouTube. So basically, we'll plan out videos ahead of time. We'll decide as a group, okay, we like these ideas. Logan and Nick will do a writing of the episode, like a script, and we'll show up on set, I'm making quotation marks, the day of, in one of our houses or my basement. We usually have a green screen set up. What we'll do is, well, I'll handle the camera and the lights, and I'll just set it up so that we can make good footage with it later if we need to take out the green screen in the background. Whichever one of us isn't the subject of the video will hold the boom microphone, because until we actually start getting revenue going with this channel, we just need to all play our part in helping work the crew. It needs at least 2 people, one to run camera, one to run the sound recording.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we film. Sometimes we'll film 4 episodes in a day. Sometimes we'll film 1 episode in a day, just while we have everyone there and everything ready to go. And by the end of it, one person's decided to edit the whole thing. Like, we'll assign a video to different people.
Gotcha.
And we'll put out the video on a certain day of the week, ideally.
Is there any rhyme or reason to who you assign to edit videos?
Usually whoever's baby it is. Like,
Gotcha.
weird side of the internet's my baby. I want to help write it. I want to help shoot it and come up with ideas for it, and I want to edit it. So my baby, I edit it. But like one of our other members, Nick, he loves Dark Souls, and he made a video called Internauts on Dark Souls, and
Oh yeah.
why it's so hard and how you shouldn't complain about it, and how get good is a really good expression for it.
Uh-huh.
And so that was his baby. He quote directed it, and all we did was shoot it and record the sound, and we gave him all the stuff to go home and edit, and we used Adobe Premiere software, and that was pretty easy to teach him. He caught on to that pretty quick, so he just made that video and put it out himself.
Is your entire crew people from your school, or is the majority of it people from back home?
No, I'm the only one from Colorado Film School.
Gotcha.
Back when we were in Denver, we used a few people for a couple of videos, but again, until we actually start getting revenue off of this channel, when we do, we'll definitely start getting people who know what they're doing professionally with these equipments to start doing the jobs for us. But I don't mean to demean YouTube, but as far as YouTube goes, you don't need Hollywood quality sound and video to make a good,
No.
some of the lowest quality videos I've ever seen have done really well on YouTube, and it's
Oh my
insane.
God.
It's content is king.
I'll show you a perfect example of that after the podcast.
I have one as well.
But so how hard is it to convene everybody to get together for a filming?
We basically just decided, all right, Mondays, just clear your Mondays,
Hmm.
and that's our process. We were able to stick to that pretty well.
Well, you heard it here, folks, with the interview of Luke from his channel Internauts, in conglomeration with other people that aren't as important to the channel. Just kidding. Link to the channel will be in the description and the comments below. Definitely check it out. It's not like I'll be sending them over a big fan base because they have over 20,000 subscribers, but still, it's a really good channel, and they produce a lot of great quality content. And I did want to do a little bit of an interview because I'm always curious about how a channel like yours becomes that big.
We don't know. we just started putting out stuff, and people liked it. We don't know why they like it.
Anyways, thanks for joining us for today's podcast. Logan, do you have anything else to add about Transformers 5?
No, I don't. Go see it.
Is Megan Fox in it?
No.
Oh, then I'm not going to go see it. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.